following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, as we start yet another week of broadcast excellence with the S&P up 7 points, a little bit more than I thought, maybe 5 for the day. Maybe it'll pull back. 1.7 billion shares as we start the day. And as we discussed last week, everybody left for vacation early this year. And in retrospect, probably not a bad belief that everybody tried to get out of Dodge after a miserable winter, and that they were more than eager to get to the Hamptons and leave Wall Street as fast as they can. Exit stage left. But what that has left us is normally a market that goes light on volume somewhere around Wednesday before the big 3-day weekend, to a market that went light last Tuesday. I think people started taking off on Tuesday from watching the volume numbers. And it's not uncommon to see a market slowly drift higher. And 7 points is probably one of the bigger days that I think we're going to see out here, at least in the S&P. 2130 in the S&P cash. I think there are a couple of reasons that we're seeing a little bit more than usual. And we'll get into that as the show unfolds today. In the meantime, we like history because it always does a little bit of repeating.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1860, Lincoln is nominated for president. In 1896, the Supreme Court rules in Plessy versus Ferguson. Of course, basically the civil rights of previous slaves. In 1974, India joins the nuclear club and fires off its first weapon. And in 1980, Mount St. Helens erupts in all of about 5 seconds, spewing out more toxic gas than humans will ever in 1,000 years. But people are not up there protesting that Mount St. Helens, shaking their fist at it. No. They're busy writing articles about SUVs. But I do digress. Mount St. Helens on this day in 1980. Had a bunch of emails over the weekend, and you can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can also call me at 877-927-6648 or post a message in the den. But looking for a rather quiet move out here for the end of the day, again with that very light volume. And this always sets up a correction that comes back the Tuesday after the long weekend. But what else can you say? Had questions about the Facebook issues last week, where they're starting to put in what I would say premium content at their location, so that the data didn't have to then come from yet another provider, i.e. the original provider. If you're not familiar with what happened with Facebook last week, basically they came up with a deal, and major magazines that have premium content, things like The Atlantic and other magazines and blog sites, have decided to go ahead and put their data and their content on Facebook. Facebook is basically saying that if your stuff won't load in 8 seconds, then it's not going to be on our news feed anymore. It is tough to see exactly how this will play out, but it basically goes back to the Microsoft trade issue, where they were basically put under a blanket for 12 years for restriction of trade and monopoly powers. And when they started digging through the the emails. What they found, what they found extensively internally at Microsoft was a policy called Embrace, Extend, and Extinguish, also known as Embrace, Extend, and Exterminate, all over the emails used by Microsoft to describe its strategy for entering product categories involving widely used standards, extending those standards with proprietary capabilities, and then using differences to disadvantage its competitors. And as far as I can tell, Facebook is doing exactly the same. They're probably a little smarter than to put it in emails. These discussions probably happen out at picnics where everybody can say he said, she said. They're probably smart enough not to put anything in emails anymore like this. But it's basically what they're doing. They're going to try to make sure that no one ever leaves Facebook. It is Hotel California. You can get a room, you just can't check out. At least that's what they're going to try. And my guess is that they're going to try getting at least some of those sites to do things that would only be visible and usable through Facebook. And the Embrace, Extend, and Extinguish from Microsoft. And I just don't see anything new coming out of this other than what Microsoft did as a ongoing basis for about 15 years for anybody that may threaten their kingdom. Facebook is probably very close. Google's probably fairly close. I suspect that Facebook may be closer to monopoly restrictions by countries and governments more than either Google or anyone else. And maybe Apple. Apple probably a close second, just because they've been behaving so badly. Facebook hasn't really gotten that close, but my guess is that it will get close. And we'll probably see something down the road in this in 6 months or a year. There are a lot of cartoons in the tech press about this right now, but nothing new out there. Just history repeating. We've got some new VIX products that will be trading tomorrow. They will be listed as the VX up and the VX down. So that's VXUP and VXDN. It's unclear what these new products are going to be. They will be listed on the NASDAQ stock market tomorrow. The funds will be tracking the CBOE volatility. Very unclear as to how this will compete with the products that are out there now. The products now have a fairly quick decay. Question is, are these people going to come in and offer a little less decay than the VIX products already on the market? Unclear. I called them, I emailed them, and asked them to be on the show to explain it, and we'll see whether or not we get anything back from them. I suspect that most of these guys are wetting themselves anytime someone asks to be on media and actually ask them maybe a question that they shouldn't answer. So the question is whether they'll even think about responding to this. They just want to make sure and get through the regulatory issues as easily as possible. So maybe in a little while they'll do it. These things aren't real big shops, and the question is whether they would even go on something like CNBC or Fox Business News or Bloomberg. It's questionable, but maybe I'm small enough to let them think that something's going on out here, and maybe they should talk to us. But we'll find out. But look for those targets trading and starting trading tomorrow. It is heaven and hell in the biotechs. 11 Biotherapeutics is the disaster du jour. Their phase 3 study to treat moderate to severe dry eye disease. I guess if you're always putting in saline solution in your eyes, probably the easiest way to take care of this. This isn't like something you can't do anything about. I think it's just to maybe a drug to make sure that you produce more water in your eyes. Anyway, the stock tumbled more than 70% to down to about 350 shares today, down 71% year to date and 69% from its February 2014 IPO price. These things are and should be treated as a option that can go south anytime. And it's not a week that doesn't go by where we see 5 of these first stage drug companies going public. My guess is we're going to see 90% of these things go belly up in the next year to year and a half. The ones that make it through this, you'd be lucky if you're sitting on one, because it's kind of a whack-a-mole. But basically what they came out with was the news that the path forward in their dry eye disease will not be possible, and they will not be initiating the second phase 3 study of the dry eye disease, which we plan to start in the second half of the year. Basically, they got enough money for about a year. And the question is there anything in what they did that has any additional value, or will they have to go back and issue more shares of stock and try to recapitalize themselves? And maybe they can find another drug that will be better. Of course, bird flu on everybody's mind. I bought a lot of chicken over the weekend while it was still cheap. I see that I had to go to the store today, just wandered by to see whether it had changed. And it had. They actually changed all the 10-pound bags of chicken to 3-pound bags, and they were charging an extra 50% today at Walmart when I was over there at lunch, coming back home. Anyway, it is extensive, but Cal-Maine Foods really looking like they've got the handle on this, which, I'm not really sure how bird flu would react to these different companies. But, of course, this one's up almost 9% on that news. I would suspect that when chickens become, and when they come home to roost, will probably be the opposite of this thing and maybe a good short when we start seeing the capacity come back in chicken production. Some people are saying that egg prices will be impacted as far as 18 months. And while a lot of these companies that like Buffalo Wild Wings and Los Lobos Chicken that got hammered last week are having problems. In the meantime, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, 877-927-6648. And we've got a lot of stuff going on out here. And the market pretty much ignoring what it found out on Friday. In fact, if you want to see an excellent job of a company and of a stock manipulator, it is certainly the movement in Apple. On Friday, we found out that 3 separate hedge funds after the bell released the numbers, and they've been huge sellers, selling millions and millions of shares of Apple stock. So what happens Monday morning? Stock looks like it's probably going to open up lower. Everybody's figured out that a lot of the big men of Wall Street are leaving Apple's shares. But one man comes out of the darkness to turn Apple around for the day. We'll talk about that when we come back, and how stock manipulation works and how he's doing it after what should have been fairly exciting news to the downside. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a ring.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we're back, we take a quick check in on the markets, and we're at 21.29 on the S&P cash, up 6.8. And volume, again, 1.8 billion shares. So volume very light. I suspect we're going to play around in this area through the rest of the week, somewhere between 21.15 and 21.40. I suspect that maybe we'll see 21.40 by Friday, maybe 21.45, something like that. Maybe as high as 21.50. It's going to be something like that. It's all going to be extremely light volume. One thing that normally happens in very light volume is the shorts tend to exit. And that makes a small bias higher in basically a trendless market. But as we watch what's going on out here, it sets up, at least in chart patterns, extremely light pushes above all-time highs, which is generally not something you want. But I'm not expecting anything that would have me go long here. Maybe one or two short squeezes if you get some news on a stock, and that's what we're talking about today. Carl Icahn, the godfather of Wall Street, was out with another self-serving letter saying that Apple is worth twice what it is trading for now. Of course, that was on the back of a lot of the hottest hands in Wall Street filing after the bell on Friday that they'd been selling millions and millions of shares each of Apple stock. And of course, I fast forwarded through everything on CNBC today to see if I could see one mention of it. And maybe they did it, but certainly I didn't see anything out there. All they can do is talk about how Carl Icahn is saying the stock is worth twice. There are two guys now, because they are great guests and bring viewers to CNBC, that are unquestioned on that network. And that one is, of course, Mr. Buffett. And the second seems to be Mr. Icahn. If you say anything bad about him, he won't come back, pretty much like Mr. Buffett. And therefore, he gets a total free pass. I don't, Carl Icahn, you just know that he's a big stock manipulator. Doesn't mean that he's wrong, but at the same time, rather self-serving. And I would have liked to seen, if they were any journalistic standards whatsoever, a huge discussion on why all the men that were buying Apple when it was 30 and 40 bucks are now selling it, where Kyle Icahn is telling you that it's worth twice what it is worth today. And the question is Carl selling any himself? No real discussions that I saw about that either, but it could be it. But I do digress. Someone's saying in here something about Orly, O-R-L-Y. Take a quick look and see if there's anything in that. Just very quiet out here. Not a lot of movement as far as I can see, or significant movement. Kind of making a little ABC here. Maybe this is getting awful close. Certainly getting close technically. You got about a 50% retracement of this last move from 230 down to 216. And no volume out here. That's probably about, what is that? 233. 59 would have been the 50% retracement. And what do we have? 226, 28 would be the 618. So make a case that we kind of got up there. Certainly not a lot of energy as we go back up to these highs. And it's not all that bad. Today's just horrible volume, I guess, all the way around. Other stocks of interest out here that I've been watching. Let's see if I've got them on my list. Maybe they're on my other list. On my other hand, Altera, A-L-T-R, another email from one of our faithful listeners out here asking me a little bit more about Altera. And unclear whether this is truly any news. Supposedly unconfirmed rumors that Altera and Microsoft were meeting last week. And that's why we've got the pop in this particular stock. The volume, though, not confirming any huge move in Altera out here, just 6 million shares. When we've had 14 to 16 million shares before in this trend line. And the question is whether Intel would ever pay the reported $45 billion for Altera. I think it's got to be a tough way to go for Intel. Be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we've got Media General out here with a nice little pop-up of a little over 4% today. It was profiled on Barron's, and probably not a big deal other than the fact that it's been a long time since Barron's has moved any stock, as far as I can tell. And maybe it still has some juice out there. I'm just back into the medium trading range this thing has had for a while. And on a quiet day, you can see a lot of these stocks moving. There are some other stocks out here that have some upgrades and downgrades. Weibo is being downgraded today. Any of these Chinese internet companies continue to be very suspect. If you missed my show on Friday, we talked about just how many of these companies, if I'm not mistaken, well, let's go ahead and check this just so I am not wrong. Weibo, yeah. Social media platform in the People's Republic of Chinese. Okay. So that's that. But if you missed on Friday...
Put some lipstick on this pig.
Oh, I didn't say that. I clicked on something wrong here. Where do we have out here? Oh, that was that. I think it's this quote out here that we played on Friday, I want to play once again.
Has that crossed your mind?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That has it crossed my mind with all my Chinese companies, and more with the Chinese companies than with the U.S. companies. And I think when you're dealing with this, there's a 5% chance I'm dead wrong, and this could be nuclear. But I don't think that that's the case.
But shouldn't the stock trade at a discount if there's a 5% chance that it's a zero? I mean, shouldn't the SEC, there should be a regulator. There's one regulator for these companies. It's the SEC. And the SEC has no ability to call the country of China.
And we went on ad nauseum about it on Friday, but we continue seeing a lot of these companies trade at a premium for books that are either suspect or, as one man said, I'm trying to remember who said it, all books have either been slightly roasted or completely burnt over history. And the question is whether or not this online media Facebook-like company is anything real or fake, and who would ever know, because, of course, there's no way to know. But I do digress. Other things of interest out here to me today is ATW. Take a quick look at it. Ooh, if I can type correctly. Atwood Oceans downgraded and by Goldman out here. It's not moving that much. Of course, market's not moving all that much either. But this actually doesn't look too bad if you wanted to be in this particular stock, other than the fact that you did have a test of the highs on lighter volume. The first high out here, May 6th, 2.9 million shares, tested it on May 13th with 1.8 million shares, and now has pulled back down to this gap up that happened on some energy. Let's see what's going on out here for the headlines on this. Yeah, maybe these things, maybe some of these companies in offshore drilling will find a bottom, or at least a temporary bottom. This company, offshore drilling contractor, engages in the drilling and completion of exploratory and environmental oil and gas worldwide. As of November 10th, 2014, it owned a fleet of 13 mobile offshore drilling units, as well as 3 ultra-deepwater drill ships under construction. The company was founded in 1968 and is headquartered in Houston, Texas. Atwood Oceanics. So that's another one out here. Let's look at, see how some of the stocks that I've been watching have been reacting out here. I've got a handful of these. What do we got? Alon USA Energy, ALJ. This one's got a fairly decent sign that it stopped out. I don't short stocks as a rule under 30 bucks, but pretty good test on Friday with 1 million shares against the 3 million share high of March 31st. Alon USA Energy, let's find out about them a little bit. Engages in refining and marketing petroleum products primarily in the south central, southwestern, and western regions of the United States. Maybe why I don't know them. Sorry about hitting the microphone there. I don't do it often. Leg Plat, we've talked about this one for a while. This thing had a high volume high on March 23rd at 4 million shares. Tried to get in it on Thursday with 900,000 shares. 2 million shares on Friday, but reversed and closed back down. It's still playing around these levels on a very, very light move back up for a leg and Platt. Of course, those folks out here also design range of engineered components and products worldwide. Companies' residential furnishing segment offers inner springs and wire forms, steel, mechanism and hardware, springs and seat suspensions, tubular seating frames. I always thought that they were something else. Well, now we know that maybe if the housing business isn't great, people are not going to be buying new couches anytime soon. Linux International, which is one I've been watching, housing market really looks like it's already rolled over out here. This one giving yet another little signal out here on super light volume of a challenge of the April 15th high at 114.08. That had 1 million shares on Friday, 300,000 shares today, 141,000 shares. So we're talking about 1/10 the volume. One thing I do like is the heavy energy down off that April 15th high to that April 21st low. When we look at the low from April 30th out here up to this high, it has been a very light volume move. Got a question in the den out here, ORLY. And, well, I can see what you're looking at here. I think they're talking about shorting these. And, of course, the retracements on these, basically this got to the 618 retracement of, what is that? We talked about it already, didn't we? It got to the retracement. I don't know if there's anything else that you would want to say about it. The only thing that gets me on this is that the energy really wasn't all that exciting on the way down, and this may sit a little bit farther out before it rolls over. So maybe a good short, maybe just going to take a little bit more time to form up because the energy on the way down wasn't that exciting. Energy on the way up is ridiculously light. So, but that's the whole market out there. So I would say that the chances of higher prices are tough. Chances of lower prices are okay. But again, my guess is that you could see this stock trade sideways out till Friday and see the drop in this thing, if you're playing an ABC down, happen on next Tuesday. Some of the stocks that look like maybe they may be finding some kind of low out here are some of these gambling stocks. What is most interesting to me is Las Vegas Sands. There's a huge gap, and that gap has been acting at 50 as support. First time it came back down on December 17th with 18 million shares into that gap at $49.82. Tried to get back into it on March 11th. Couldn't get it. Couldn't make the highs either. So it's back down, basically challenging that low. Needs about another 50 cents lower out here, but making a little doji. Certainly into that candle fairly extensively, but just 3.3 million shares out here makes me think that there's not a lot of juice to go lower in Las Vegas Sands. Regenesis Pharmaceuticals. This one looks like maybe it's another one of these stocks in the biotech sector that could see some problems. One of the things I did want to bring up is that if you're looking at shorting some of these biotechs, what you do want to do is these things have made some fairly decent ABC moves out here. And what you want to keep an eye on is whether or not these things can break these previous confluence ranges. And most of these confluence ranges also have gaps at the same spot, and that doubles your chances of finding some kind of significant move there. REGN has two. One that's just a hair under basically 460, and it's got a very good confluence range there. Confluence is when two different moves and Fibonacci ratios basically converge, the 382 of one to the 618 of the other. So you've got one right there at 460, just under a hair under 460. The next one's right at 430. Now you also have a gap, and this thing gapped up on decent volume, 1.6 million shares on that. So these are the kind of stocks that I'm going to stay away from. But if you were looking for a move, not a bad move from $500 at the highs out here, back down to 450. A decent move of $50 if you wanted or could get the options on this, and you were thinking about shorting the biotechs. This may be one that you could consider playing. Sony Corporation. This thing has been out here very light moves. Of course, this thing is an ADR, so it has the component of the move in the yen at the same time. But what we do see is a very light test from Friday. The April 22nd high, it was $32.60. He came into that with 1.5 million shares on Friday, and this thing is pulling back into the trading range. Hard for me to get too fired up about Sony, but certainly it looks like it could be topping out. Time Warner, or Towers and Watson, excuse me. Another stock that looks very toppy out here. It has come and tested its high March 2nd, 135.50 on basically 700,000 shares. Got into it for the second time with under 300,000 shares. Today, it may be trying to hold this high, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. But these some of the few stocks giving a good signal. Again, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the den. You can also take a look and call me at 877-927-6648. Vodafone Group, VOD, this thing has been trying to get back into this gap that's been around forever at $37. November 28th, it got it to $37 with 10 million shares. What we've looked at here over the last 4 days is 6.5 million shares, 4.8 million shares, 2.9 million shares. Now today it's down with 2.4 million shares. So that's it. Current idea on shippers. Larry from Detroit. The SX. What do we have out here? We talked about Diana Shipping some time ago. This thing had tested its lows. I really couldn't get too excited about the market at the time, and one of the reasons I didn't go long this thing. But on December 17th, it hit $6.28 on 1.8 million shares. Came in and tested it, beat it by 3 cents on January 7th, still came back down and broke it one more time. Volume was about a third, still never got more than about 600,000 shares to 602. As soon as it closed back into this trading range, it basically confirms a bottom in this thing. But at the same time, on Friday, you only had 740,000 shares as you went into the February 13th high. So to me right now, it looks like these shipping companies have probably bottomed. But you probably want to be doing this as a range trade out here. And my guess is that you want to buy this in the low $6 ranges, and you want to be selling this at about $7 unless you see a whole lot of volume. In the meantime, we're going to go to the phone. We've got Pat in Tampa. How you doing today, Pat? I can hear you breathing. Hello? Pat? Did we drop? She dropped. Vale, looking at it, I don't know exactly what she's, well, I assume what she's looking at is this huge move up. You had your basically three advancing soldiers, is what they call them in candlestick trading. And you basically had it. You had an ABC up from that. You're now pulling back. Volume is extremely light. The only thing I'd say is if you can get $6.25 on this, that would probably be where you'd have to figure that you'd want to go long, and think that you probably don't want this thing to close below this gap, which is about, what, $5.85. So the closer you can get to that range and buy it, the more interesting this stock would be. And not a bad-looking chart out here. You tested the lows. You're off the lows. You had it with volume. You want to be back in that first advancing candle. And it looks good. So thanks for bringing up Vail. But need it cheaper. A little cheaper. Be back in a minute.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, checking the mail. Where did my mail go? My mail shouldn't have left. Oh, there it is. Moving around. See if we have anything else. Yeah, got a question on whether or not they think that the news over the weekend, if you missed it on Friday, I was talking to Tom O'Brien in the Tech Insider Hour about how some of the airlines were offering 1 million miles for anybody that could prove that they could hack the systems of a plane on Friday. And, of course, on Saturday, we found out that the FBI was deciding to make some rather large claims about some of these hackers. And the gentleman they threw off the airlines maybe 45 days ago. And he's been rather vocal in talking about what he can and cannot do. But basically what he had figured out a way to do was sniff the packets while he was on airlines. And he could see the packets that were going around the network of the plane. And why he said he never had done it, the FBI was saying, yes, he said he did it. It's unclear why the FBI generally would lie about these kind of things. I learned very early on, though, with being impaneled on a federal grand jury in my mid-20s. They found out I was off on Fridays and had already been on a grand jury for the county that I was living in at the time. And they figured I showed up to one. I guess they figured I was going to show up to another. And that it was nice that I had Fridays off already, so they didn't have to cough up additional bucks. They couldn't say, eh. So anyway. But the interesting part was how many times I was fairly technically literate. How many times, even in the 80s, they bring these guys in front, cops and FBI agents in front of us to give testimony in a grand jury. And how many times either one, they had absolutely no idea what they were talking about and telling people. And I could ask them questions because I knew something about technology. I was pretty good even in my mid-20s. And I could prove pretty quickly that they were full of it and lying. Generally, they do two things. One, they'll make very bold claims that tend to fade away after a while. The other thing is that all the damages that supposedly hackers do are wildly exaggerated. They brought one case into us where a guy had downloaded a manual off of, I think it was AT&T, because it was a phone hacker that they brought in. And they said he did $200 million worth of damage. And my question was to him, okay, if he did $200 million worth of damage, I want to see them account for that in the next quarterly statement. And of course, they didn't account for crap. So a lot of these things get stretched out and are fairly far. What that does tell you, though, is if he can see the packets, he can probably modify the packets. And I think when the FBI finally gets around to admitting it, this guy probably didn't make an airplane go sideways for a while by basically making one engine go a little faster than the other. But he basically said he could see all the data packets going to the energy or the engine management system, basically the throttle for the engine. And he said it wouldn't have been a big deal for him to be able to just shut it off or run them full blast either way. But there's got to be a lot more work going into airlines and whether or not these things are hack-proof. They like to kill the messengers on these things, and it wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. And hang on for Tom O'Brien over most of TFNN.com.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.